It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. Have you ever wondered why, on some days, you feel like you can conquer the world, and on others you struggle to make even the simplest decision? What if I told you that your confidence isn't just a part of who you are, but something that is constantly shaped by the things you do every day, without even realizing it? Today, we're diving deep into the everyday habits that are secretly eating away at your confidence. In the spirit of Stoicism, we'll explore not only how these habits impact you, but how embracing Stoic principles can help us regain control over our self-esteem and our lives. Because Stoics aren't just born, they're made through the choices we make every day. So, if you're ready to take charge of how you see yourself and how you navigate the world, stick around. This might just change the way you approach every day of your life. And if you appreciate what we're doing here and want to support this journey of growth and self-discovery, a simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Remember, don't skip any part of the video, because like the Stoics of old, you are different from the majority, and your path to mastering confidence should be no exception. Number 1. Neglecting your appearance. Caring for your appearance isn't about vanity, it's about honoring your body and your presence in the world. Marcus Aurelius once noted that the things we love about our body are that which it enables us to do. By taking care of our bodies, we enhance our ability to perform these actions, which in turn elevates our self-esteem and our engagement with the world. When you take the time to look after your physical appearance, it does more than just make you look good. It also makes you feel good. This psychological boost is not a trivial one. It's profoundly tied to your confidence levels in both social and professional settings. Epictetus urged his followers to be attentive but not vain. This balance is crucial. It's about caring enough to foster self-respect and dignity without tipping over into excessive preoccupation with looks. The influence of appearance on confidence is not just a Stoic idea, but is also supported by modern psychology. Studies suggest that when people feel they look good, their performance and their interpersonal interactions often improve. This is known as the halo effect, where the perception of one positive characteristic, like an appealing appearance, extends to other aspects of a person's behavior and attributes. Furthermore, taking pride in your appearance can be a form of non-verbal communication. It tells the world how you see yourself and how you wish to be seen. Socrates, although he emphasized the importance of inner beauty and wisdom, acknowledged that outer appearance could reflect one's inner state. He suggested that a lack of care in one's appearance might reflect a disordered inner life. In the context of Western philosophy, Aristotle talked about the golden mean, the desirable middle between two extremes, one of excess and the other of deficiency. In terms of grooming and personal care, this concept encourages us to find a balance. It's beneficial to care enough about your appearance to foster self-respect and positive interactions, but not so much that it becomes a source of anxiety or vanity. Caring for your appearance is a multifaceted practice. It's about more than just the clothes you wear or the style of your hair. It's about the message you send to yourself and others. Every day, when you prepare for the day ahead, think of it as an act of self-respect. This doesn't mean every day needs to involve a meticulous grooming ritual, but it does mean recognizing that how you present yourself can affect your mood, your confidence, and how others perceive you. By aligning your external presentation with your internal values, you respect yourself and command respect from others. Number 2. Obsessing over minor flaws. This habit can be particularly detrimental as it shifts your focus from your strengths to insignificant imperfections. Stoicism, a philosophy deeply rooted in managing our reactions to external events, teaches us the importance of focusing on what we can control. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." By dwelling on minor flaws that we cannot change, or that do not fundamentally impact who we are, we waste valuable emotional and mental energy that could be directed towards more productive endeavors. This obsession with minor flaws is a distraction that undermines our self-esteem and diverts our attention from our virtues and the things that truly define us. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasized the importance of concentrating on one's own behavior and actions, which we can control, rather than being overly concerned with our external appearance or others' opinions, which are beyond our control. He suggested that tranquility is achieved by aligning one's actions with one's reason and conscience, which does not waver based on physical imperfections. In Western philosophy, Aristotle spoke about the mean between extremes as the desirable state in his Nicomachean Ethics. When applied to self-perception, this concept encourages a balanced view of oneself, not inflated by vanity nor deflated by excessive focus on flaws. It's about recognizing both strengths and weaknesses without allowing either to distort our self-concept disproportionately. Socrates also contributes to this conversation with his belief that true wisdom comes from knowing oneself. This introspection is constructive when it leads to personal growth and understanding, not when it becomes an exercise in cataloging every minor flaw. He argued that a fixation on trivial details about oneself could hinder the pursuit of true knowledge and virtue, which are far more important for one's character and moral development. In the realm of psychology, the concept of self-talk is pivotal. Negative self-talk, especially about minor flaws, can lead to a distorted self-image, anxiety, and decreased motivation. Instead, focusing on positive attributes and achievements can enhance self-esteem and overall mental well-being. This aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing on what truly matters, our virtues and our actions, rather than elements beyond our control or of little consequence. When you find yourself obsessing over minor flaws, remember the wisdom of the Stoics and other philosophers who teach us to focus on our control and influence. Redirecting attention to our virtues and what truly defines us can not only improve our self-esteem, but also lead us toward a more fulfilled and contented life. This practice is about embracing a balanced self-view that acknowledges flaws without allowing them to overshadow our larger journey towards virtue and self-improvement. Number 3. Talking about your perceived weaknesses. It's important to acknowledge that humility is a valuable trait. It keeps us grounded and approachable. However, there's a fine line between being humble and engaging in excessive self-deprecation. When you frequently talk down about yourself, whether in jest or seriousness, it doesn't just affect how others see you. It fundamentally impacts how you view your own capabilities and worth. This can spiral into a self-fulfilling prophecy where you start to believe you genuinely lack ability because you've said it so often. Stoicism, which promotes resilience and emotional control, offers a constructive way to handle this. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius believed that every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When you catch yourself focusing on a weakness, try reframing it as Marcus Aurelius would. See it as a challenge to be met or a puzzle to be solved, not as an inherent flaw in your character. This doesn't mean ignoring your weaknesses, but rather viewing them through a lens of growth and potential. For instance, if you're not great at public speaking and often criticize yourself for it, instead of saying, "I'm terrible at speaking in front of people," you might rephrase it to, "Public speaking is a skill I'm currently developing. This shift in perspective doesn't just change the narrative you tell others, it changes the narrative you tell yourself. It moves you from a fixed mindset, where abilities are static and unchangeable, to a growth mindset, where you see yourself as capable of learning and improving. This approach is echoed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within our power to change. By channeling our energy towards personal growth rather than dwelling on our limitations, we align more closely with Stoic ideals. This doesn't only help in building self-confidence, it also encourages a more realistic and effective approach to personal development. Furthermore, this way of reframing weaknesses into opportunities for growth can lead to more authentic interactions with others. People tend to respond more positively to those who are open about their growth journeys, as opposed to those who only focus on their shortcomings. This doesn't undermine your humility. It enhances it by showing that you are aware of your areas for improvement and are actively working on them. While it's crucial to be aware of and honest about your weaknesses, it's equally important to frame them constructively. Seeing every weakness as an opportunity for growth not only fosters personal development, but also builds a resilient and adaptable mindset, a core tenet of Stoicism. So next time you find yourself about to criticize a personal shortcoming, pause and consider how you can turn it into a stepping stone for improvement. This slight shift in your approach can significantly impact how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you, leading to greater self-confidence and effectiveness in all areas of life. Number 4. Over-complimenting others. At first glance, praising others seems like a purely positive action, right? Certainly, showing appreciation and acknowledging the achievements of others is an essential part of building healthy relationships. However, when it extends into over-complimenting, it can start to have unintended consequences, particularly when it undermines your own sense of self-worth. Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in seeking virtue through balance and rationality, teaches us about the importance of moderation. The Stoics believed that every aspect of life, including how we interact with others, should be balanced. When you over-compliment others, you might be inadvertently placing them on a pedestal while diminishing your own achievements and qualities. This isn't just about a balanced view of relationships. It's also about maintaining a balanced view of yourself. It's essential, according to Stoic thought, to recognize and celebrate your own achievements and strengths as vigorously as you do for others. This isn't a call towards arrogance, but rather an encouragement towards a healthy self-esteem. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about the importance of self-awareness and the appreciation of one's own worth. He emphasized that one should not just be humble, but also see and appreciate their own value and contributions. In practical terms, if you find yourself frequently praising others while rarely acknowledging your own efforts, take a moment to reflect on this pattern. Ask yourself if you are perhaps using praise to deflect attention from your own accomplishments or to avoid looking at your own potential. This kind of self-reflection, deeply encouraged in Stoicism, can help you understand your motivations and adjust your behaviors to foster a more balanced self-perception. Moreover, excessive praising of others can sometimes be perceived as insincere, which might lead to strained relationships rather than the intended strengthening of bonds. Epictetus warned against empty flattery and emphasized genuine interactions based on truth and sincerity. He believed that flattery was a form of deception, both towards oneself and others. To cultivate a healthier balance in how you interact with others, try to consciously acknowledge something you did well at the same time you recognize someone else. This practice will help reinforce a balanced perspective that appreciates both others' contributions and your own. It's about building a habit of seeing the good in others without overlooking the good in yourself. By fostering this balance, you adhere to Stoic principles of moderation and rational self-regard. You not only contribute to a more authentic relationship with others, but also strengthen your self-esteem by affirming your own value and capabilities. This balanced approach ensures that your compliments to others are meaningful and that your self-appreciation is equally grounded in reality. Number 5. Believing your negative self-talk. This habit can subtly undermine our confidence and skew our perception of our own capabilities. It's where the teachings of Stoicism really come into play, emphasizing the power of rational thought and the importance of not being swayed by undue emotions. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus frequently discuss the importance of controlling our reactions to our thoughts. They proposed that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of these events. So, when we engage in negative self-talk, it's crucial to challenge these thoughts. Ask yourself, are these thoughts rational? Are they true? Most often, you'll find that these negative whispers are not based on facts, but are rather distortions of reality. Epictetus, for instance, urged us to examine our impressions and not to be carried away by them without scrutiny. He believed that by questioning our initial reactions, we can avoid being controlled by them and maintain our inner peace. This is particularly helpful when dealing with negative self-talk. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I always mess things up," it's essential to challenge this. Look at the evidence. Have there truly been no instances where you've succeeded? Challenging such absolutes helps to break down these negative barriers and fosters a more balanced self-view. Moreover, Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of viewing things objectively and without the cloud of our personal biases. When negative thoughts arise, try to step back and see them as an outside observer might. This detachment allows you to evaluate whether those thoughts are helpful or harmful, true or false. It's a method of gaining perspective and reclaiming your mind from the grips of unhelpful criticism. Incorporating this Stoic practice into your daily routine can significantly alter your interaction with negative self-talk. Each time a negative thought surfaces, take a moment to scrutinize it with rational thought. This process doesn't just diminish the power of negative thinking, it enhances your overall mental resilience. By consistently practicing this, you gradually shift from a mindset overwhelmed by self-doubt to one fortified with self-assurance. Remember, the goal here isn't to never have negative thoughts, that's unrealistic, but to prevent these thoughts from taking root and defining your self-perception. Just like the Stoics, you can learn to see these thoughts for what they truly are, mere impressions, not concrete realities. Over time, this practice will not only boost your confidence, but also deepen your understanding and mastery of Stoic principles in everyday life. Number 6. Excessive apologizing. It might seem like a minor thing, but it's actually quite significant when we think about how it affects our self-confidence and the way others perceive us. In the Stoic view, every word and action should be intentional and meaningful. So, when it comes to apologizing, Stoic wisdom would advise us to reserve our apologies for situations where they are truly warranted. Why does this matter? Well, apologizing unnecessarily can convey a lack of confidence in one's decisions and actions. It can send a message that you are always in the wrong or always to blame, even when that's not the case. This not only affects how others see you, but can also lead to a diminished sense of self-worth. Stoics like Epictetus taught that we should focus on what is within our control, our actions and our words. By apologizing excessively, you may be taking responsibility for things outside your control, which is contrary to Stoic principles. The key here is to be mindful and deliberate with your apologies. When you make a mistake, own it apologize sincerely, and then move forward. This aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing on the present and learning from the past without dwelling on it. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of living in accordance with nature, and part of that is acknowledging our human imperfections. Apologizing when it's truly called for is honest and reflective of a strong character. However, when apologies are overused, they can lose their meaning. Think of it this way. If you say sorry for everything, how will people know when you are genuinely remorseful? Apologies should be a reflection of your true intentions, not a habitual response to every situation. This is not only about how others perceive your apologies, but also about cultivating a genuine sense of accountability within yourself. Moreover, excessive apologizing can be a sign that you're not standing firmly within your own boundaries. Stoicism teaches us about the importance of knowing ourselves and living with integrity. Part of this self-knowledge is understanding when we have actually done something that warrants an apology, and when we are simply diminishing our own authority by saying sorry unnecessarily. In practice, the next time you find yourself about to apologize, pause and ask yourself, is this apology really necessary? Is it reflecting something that I truly believe was a mistake on my part? This moment of reflection can help you break the habit of excessive apologizing and instead lead you to use apologies more judiciously. By doing so, you reinforce your self-confidence and ensure that your apologies maintain their sincerity and impact. Number 7. Letting others make decisions for you. This is a critical area because it directly affects your sense of autonomy and confidence. In the context of Stoicism, much emphasis is placed on personal responsibility and the integrity of living a life that you have carefully considered and chosen for yourself. Letting others decide for you might seem easier in the short term, especially if decision-making feels daunting or you're worried about the consequences of your choices. However, when you habitually rely on others to make your choices, you're essentially living a life designed by someone else. This can lead to a significant disconnect between your true desires and how you're actually living. Stoic philosophers, particularly Epictetus, often discussed the importance of prohairesis, which is the faculty of choice. According to him, this is the only thing we truly own, and we must not give it away lightly. Building confidence through decision-making starts with trusting your own judgment. This doesn't mean you should never seek advice or consider other perspectives, but ultimately, the decision should come from you. This practice aligns well with the Stoic belief in the importance of living according to one's own nature and reason. By making your own choices, you affirm your values, assess your options rationally, and take responsibility for the paths you choose. Starting small is an excellent way to practice this. Make decisions about your daily routine, what to eat, what to read, or how to organize your day. These might seem like trivial choices, but they set the foundation for more significant decisions. As you grow more comfortable and confident in these smaller choices, you'll naturally begin to feel more equipped to handle larger, more impactful decisions in your life. Marcus Aurelius, a staunch advocate of self-governance in accordance with reason, emphasized the importance of acting in a way that is consistent with your own principles and not just following the crowd. This autonomy is empowering. When you make decisions that align with your deep-seated beliefs, you not only live more authentically, but also reinforce your self-confidence. Moreover, making your own decisions and accepting the outcomes, whether good or bad, fosters resilience. You learn from each consequence, which in turn prepares you better for future challenges. This process is inherently Stoic, as it involves reflecting on and learning from the outcomes of your actions, which Stoics believe is key to personal development. By making your own decisions, you claim ownership of your life. This strengthens your sense of self, builds your confidence, and helps you develop into a person who lives with intention and integrity. Each decision is a step towards a more authentic and confident self, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Number 8. Lowering your standards. This is a common pitfall that can subtly erode the quality of our lives and our self-esteem. Stoicism teaches us the importance of striving for excellence through discipline and maintaining high personal standards. These principles aren't just about achieving external success. They're fundamentally about cultivating inner virtue and living a life that's true to your values. When you start to lower your standards, whether in work, relationships, or personal goals, it does more than just affect the immediate outcomes. It impacts how you view yourself. Lower standards mean you're not pushing yourself to reach your full potential. This can create a cycle of underachievement where the less you expect from yourself, the less you are likely to achieve, and the lower your confidence sinks. Seneca argued that our lives are the sum of our choices, and to degrade those choices is to degrade our lives. High standards are a reflection of believing in one's capabilities. They drive you to challenge yourself, which in turn leads to personal growth and satisfaction. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius believed that the obstacle itself is an opportunity to practice some virtue: patience, courage, humility, resourcefulness. By maintaining high standards, you're not just aiming for external achievements, you're practicing these virtues, which build a solid foundation for confidence. It's essential, however, to distinguish between unrealistically high standards and high, achievable standards. The former can lead to frustration and disappointment, while the latter encourages growth and improvement. A Stoic aims for the latter, practicing what Epictetus called the art of living. He suggested that just as a musician tunes their instrument to achieve harmony, a person must set their standards to align with their true capabilities and values, thereby creating a harmonious life. In practical terms, consider what lowering your standards might mean in different areas of your life. In work, it might mean accepting good enough in a project where you could excel. In relationships, it might mean tolerating disrespect or neglect. And in personal habits, it could mean skipping steps in your routine that are designed to improve your well-being. Each time you lower your standards, you send yourself the message that you don't deserve better. This is contrary to the Stoic belief in the inherent worth of each individual. Instead, by keeping your standards high and aligned with your true potential, you affirm your value. You challenge yourself to rise to the occasion, which not only brings better outcomes, but reinforces your belief in your abilities. This doesn't mean you won't sometimes fail to meet your standards, but even in failure, there's a valuable lesson in perseverance and virtue. Maintaining high standards is a crucial way to respect yourself and your potential. It requires discipline and a commitment to your personal values, both key aspects of Stoic philosophy. By aspiring to live up to these standards, you not only enhance your ability to achieve your goals, but also build a deeper, more resilient sense of self-confidence. Number 9. Maintaining toxic relationships. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy that teaches us how to think. It also guides us on how to choose the company we keep. Stoic wisdom underscores the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and support us. This is because the people we spend time with can significantly influence our thoughts, behaviors, and ultimately, our character. Toxic relationships are those that consistently drain your energy, disparage your contributions, or disrespect your boundaries. These relationships, whether they are friendships, romantic partnerships, or even professional connections, can profoundly affect how you see yourself and your ability to grow. They can inject negativity into your life and create an environment where it's challenging to maintain a healthy, optimistic outlook. This is starkly opposed to the Stoic pursuit of peace and personal virtue. Seneca once wrote about the importance of choosing one's friends carefully, noting that we should welcome those who are capable of improving us. He believed that friends should be selected for their ethical qualities and their ability to challenge us to become better versions of ourselves. Applying this to our own lives, it becomes clear why maintaining toxic relationships is so detrimental. These relationships do the opposite of improving us. They pull us into a cycle of negativity and stagnation. If you find yourself in a toxic relationship, Stoicism teaches us to evaluate these connections with a rational and objective mindset. Ask yourself, do these relationships align with my values? Do they contribute to my growth and well-being? If the answer is no, it may be time to consider distancing yourself from these negative influences. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the value of tranquility and peace of mind, which can be disrupted by toxic relationships. He advocated for living in harmony with oneself, which sometimes means making tough decisions about who you allow into your inner circle. Furthermore, distancing yourself from toxic relationships doesn't mean you bear any ill will. It's about protecting your own well-being and growth. It's a demonstration of self-respect and an acknowledgement that you are deserving of positive, supportive relationships. This step, although difficult, is often liberating and profoundly transformative. It clears space in your life for healthier interactions and opens up opportunities for personal development and happiness. Remember that evaluating and possibly pruning toxic relationships is not just about cutting ties. It's about making room in your life for relationships that truly matter and that contribute positively to your growth. It's about respecting yourself enough to say no to what harms you and yes to what nurtures you. This process, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, supports not just personal peace, but also the cultivation of virtue and character. Number 10. Comparing yourself to others. This is a habit many of us fall into, almost instinctively, as we navigate through life. But Stoicism offers a valuable perspective on this issue. It reminds us that every individual's path is uniquely their own, shaped by different circumstances, choices, and experiences. Stoic teachings encourage us to focus on our own journey and measure our progress against ourselves, not others. Comparing yourself to others can be a trap. It's easy to look at someone else's life and feel as though you don't measure up, or conversely, to feel superior based on arbitrary measures. However, such comparisons are not only unproductive, but can also lead to unnecessary discontent. The philosopher Epictetus emphasized that envy and jealousy stem from focusing on the external fortunes of others, which are beyond our control. He suggested that peace comes from focusing on our internal state and progress, which we can control. The Stoics teach that the only comparison that should matter is the one with your past self. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Have you grown in ways that are important to you? This perspective aligns with the concept of continual self-improvement and personal virtue. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about self-reflection and the importance of self-mastery. He believed in striving to be the best version of oneself, not in competition with others, but as a personal challenge. This approach is about setting personal benchmarks and goals based on your values, aspirations, and capabilities. It shifts the focus from external validation to internal satisfaction and fulfillment. By concentrating on your own growth and achievements, you cultivate a sense of intrinsic motivation that is more stable and enduring than the fleeting highs of external comparison. Moreover, this Stoic view helps foster a mindset of abundance and positivity. When you're not constantly measuring your worth against others, you're more likely to feel content with what you have and who you are. This doesn't mean you don't strive for improvement, but it does mean that your motivation comes from a healthier, more constructive place. In practical terms, whenever you find yourself slipping into the habit of comparing yourself to others, pause and redirect your focus. Reflect on your own progress and celebrate the milestones, no matter how small. Remind yourself of where you started and how far you've come. This practice not only enhances your self-esteem, but also keeps you rooted in the present, appreciating your journey for what it is, an individual path filled with unique challenges and victories. Remember that life is not a race against others, but a journey of becoming the best version of yourself. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you'll find that you spend less time feeling inadequate or envious, and more time appreciating your own growth and successes. It's about finding joy in your personal evolution and recognizing that each step forward, no matter how small, is a triumph in its own right. As we wrap up, remember that the journey to self-improvement is ongoing and uniquely yours. Embrace the Stoic path of focusing on your own growth and let go of the unhelpful comparisons that hold you back. Thank you for spending this time with us at Stoic Journal. Don't forget to check out one of the suggested videos on the screen to continue your journey toward a more fulfilled and confident life. And since you've made it to the end, share with us your thoughts in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. See you soon.